May this reading relax your mind and awaken your heart. So, the mother and father of the universe has incarnated on Earth, and she has forgotten her true identity. They are about to get a hotel room. And that's where we left off. So let's see what happens. The suite comprised a living dining room, a powder room, a bedroom, and bath. In the bedroom, a mattress covered with a multicolored batik bedspread lay centered on a cool decorative tile floor. Scattered around on low tables were scented candles and bowls of oil. Soft, pleasant New Age music issued from an invisible source. Expanses of glass overlooked lawns and flower gardens, and in the distance were snow-capped mountains. The bathroom, if it could be called that, was a series of rooms open to each other. One with a bath almost the size of a swimming pool, and another with a shower designed, as I soon discovered, to mimic a rainforest. The toiletries, toothbrush, hairbrushes, fragrant soaps and creams were of a luxury brand I could not afford. I showered and slipped on a cotton pajama and top. Sid did the same. We seemed acolytes of a cult. I placed cushions at the head and foot of the mattress and motioned him to sit at one end. I sat cross-legged at the other. All right, we're getting spicy, but let me just have a quick look, see if this is anything too spicy. No. Okay. Do you have a condom? I asked, all business. No, he said, but I could. No need, I said. We won't get that far. I closed my eyes. Close your eyes, partially, I instructed him, as Miss Nandi, my Sanskrit teacher, had instructed me. Breathe in, hold, then out. Breathe deeply into the chest and imagine the sound hum. Breathe out and imagine the sound sa. Hum sa. Shiva and Shakti. Divine consciousness and nature. Deeply, in and out, 10 times, keep count. Then 3 counts in, hold for 3 counts, and breathe out for 3 counts. Watch the gap between 2 breaths. He complied. The present is not located in time, I said. Time is past or future. Truth lies in the present. My mind stops in the present. The present has no movement. I am here now. With my breath, I transcend space and time. When breath is in, stop, and when out, stop. In the gap between in and out breaths, the small me is absent. I watch the space between 2 breaths, the turning point between 2 breaths. I stood abruptly, tugged at my pajama string, and exposed the dull red gash that cut across my belly. Does it hurt? He asked. There's always a pain, like a low hum. I'm never far from it, but I'm used to it. It's an old friend that I can depend on, a friend who keeps me company. At times the pain becomes acute, but short-lived. Enter your pain. Penetrate it, I heard him say. I touched my scar gently, then dug my nail into it. I gasped at the familiar stab that shot through my body. I collapsed onto the mattress. Pinpoint the pain. Bring it to its source, he said. Use the point of intense pain. Observe it. You are not the pain. You observe the pain. Expand the space between you and the pain. Expand the space between your body and you. You are not this body. I fell into a hazy sleep. When I opened my eyes, he was seated on a chair, watching me, watching over me. I turned over on my stomach. Then the doorbell chimed. "Dinner," I said. "I've ordered the Ayurvedic special." A boy in a turban wheeled in an elaborately carved wooden trolley. He smartly spread a damask tablecloth on the dining table and laid out silverware, damask napkins, and 2 large dinner plates encrusted with a wide green and gold border. From a cut glass decanter, he poured a green-yellow liquid into 2 tall glasses. We seated ourselves. With a flourish, the boy uncovered 2 dishes and served portions on each plate. "What's this?" I asked, horrified. The boy stood to attention and recited, "Tapioca plus yellow mung dal and boiled vegetables, madame." "Usually fed to children and people recovering from an illness," Sid added, unhelpfully. "Very good for stomach business," the boy offered boldly, then withdrew, backing his way out. I took a sip of the lukewarm drink. It tasted of cobwebs. We were across from each other, naked, in the cool water of the pool bathtub. We were both tall, but our feet barely touched. I floated across and he lifted me onto his lap. And there is a little bit of a sex scene. So if this is something that might be uncomfortable for you, it's not detailed. This book isn't about that. Then do ensure that you come back at a more appropriate time. Alright, ready? It's only a few sentences. He lifted me onto his lap and entered me. He touched my chest lightly. My breasts were the best part of me. Round, full, but not voluptuous. He stroked my arm. "Are you aware of your skin?" he asked. "Your skin sets you apart, protects you. Your skin feels all, drops of water, heat, cold." He ran his hand along my calf and through my wet hair. I traced a finger along his lips, his nose, circled his eyes, cheekbones, forehead. He is not handsome. I would tell Pepe, but he is beautiful. He gently drew my head to him. Then I am going to skip over some sentences. "Siddhanta," I whispered. "Give me a nice name." "Lalita," he suggested. "Too many syllables. I'd like 2 syllables and 4 letters maximum." "Sita," he said. "Another unfortunate woman like me. I'm on a positive path. Something peppy, snappy, happy." "Uma." 2 syllables, 3 letters. "Uma. Yes. Perfect." He shuddered. "Stay with me," I said. "Enter this tremor, this shaking." "You don't remember when we first met," I murmured. "New Year's Eve in New York City. We danced, you and I." I remember, he said. Come, I'll show you how it's done. I sprang out of the bathtub. In the bedroom, I punched a few buttons on a console, and soon we were pressed against each other, swaying hypnotically to the strains of the blue Danube waltz, naked, dripping wet, and laughing. From quarks to galaxies, everything is dance, he said. We went in search of peacocks. We did not find any, but after navigating through a geometrical maze of clipped hedges, we came upon 2 croquet courts, stunningly green in the early morning light and superbly flat, an engineering feat in this mountainous terrain. A group of men and women in sparkling whites with mallets and balls were in play. And who says the sun has set on the Raj? I said. Croquet players, not peacocks. Maya, material existence, an appearance in Brahman, universal consciousness, confounds us, never letting us in on what is going on. Maya, cosmic subterfuge, changeable, unreliable, contradictory, magnificent. Maya has no beginning. When did my ignorance of the Chinese language begin? At birth? Maya has no beginning, but loosens control when I awaken to my true self. Our limbs were intertwined. He was in me. He ran his fingers around various parts of my body. I had no thought, alert only to my full nature of various parts of my body. The vibrations began, and I faced him. I want to, he whispered. It's not time yet, I said. Not yet time for what? He asked. For us. I'm not ready, I said. He kissed me on the mouth, deep and long. I let go and lay back. He moved on top of me. Then I was on top of him, touching, but not yielding. Will I see you again? I asked. How could you not? He said. Why me? I persisted. There is only you, he replied. On our way to the Dehradun airport, Jatayu informed me that the father of the boys, Damu and Ramu, had been offered a job in Rishikesh and would be returning to be with his family. How did that happen? I asked. Did Sid... God's grace, madame, Jatayu said. God's grace only. An exhilarating buoyancy took over me on the flight home. The funds from Gerhard had been deposited into my bank account. The videos of Jonas had been sent to his father. I did not keep a copy. I had no qualms about my silence regarding vile Jonas's obsession, because I knew that the punishment his father would inflict on him would be greater than any sentence the courts might pass. Jonas would be severely punished, not for his criminality, but for endangering the company's good name. Cocooned by the hum of the aircraft, I steadied my breathing. Hum-sa, which became so hum. I am that. The question of what am I doing now was at the forefront, and regret of what might have been, or eagerness for what could be, was relegated to respectable distance. I had focus, I had the tools of meditation, I had the weapon of prayer, and I was deeply in love with Sid, with the cosmos, with the thimbleful of coffee I'd been served, with the screaming 3-year-old who threw up on me. When Pepe and the girls were squared away, I resolved I would embark on my spiritual practice, my austerities, to become worthy of Siddh, to become Ulma. I longed to embed the teachings of the Gita into that cave of my heart. My goal was not moksha, freedom from my own suffering. My goal was to alleviate the suffering of those around me, to give the girls a chance for a decent life, and to give Pepe a future. With my seat upright, I meditated, breathing in and out, observing my breath. In and out, observing the gap between two breaths. Meditation is non-thinking. Meditation is play with no end. Desires live in the promise of future expectations. Fire cannot be quenched by pouring oil over it. When a desire arises, scrutinize it until it disappears. The tiny flame within me expands to envelop the cosmos. There is no cosmos, no me. When we are together, Pepe, the girls and I, when we take our place on the shining orb, we will study together. I will tell them stories that point the way. We will dance. We are complete. No one can harm us. No one can hurt us. I will say to them, what were their names? Renuka, the oldest, then Ratna, and wasn't the littlest one Radha with an aspirated dha? That is the end of this chapter. But there is another section to read. The layer of the story that takes place at the level of the divine. The gods were convened on Mount Kailash. The agenda for the meeting had one item: the utter failure of their combined efforts in making her remember. She appears to have gotten the better of you, Hari addressed Siddh. Perhaps she's gaining her strength, Miss Nandi ventured. Normally, Miss Nandi did not speak at such proceedings, but her current status as teacher made her bold. You did exert your considerable charms, Hari continued, after a slight nod acknowledging Miss Nandi. Siddh took a sardonic tone. Apparently not enough of them, and, anyway, she considers Nandi here her teacher, in spite of all my efforts. Did I overstep? Miss Nandi asked timidly. Was I going too far by teaching her about the breath and the So-Hum meditation? Not at all, Hari said easily. You built up her confidence, allowing her to take the initiative with him. Good nature ribbing followed. The gods spoke in an elliptical, sophisticated Sanskrit filled with puns, insults, and innuendos, impossible to translate into the simple-minded politesse of English. Your discourse on the Gita was ridiculously brief, Pepe complained. She doesn't have much of an attention span, Siddh responded. It would have been of little use to go on. In any case, does one really understand the Gita? Anyone, let alone follow its practical how-tos? Is that my fault? Pepe protested. She left Siddh a donation, Hari said, changing the subject. I wonder how much. $500 max, I would say, Muthu wagered. 250 more likely, Hari said, laughing. What's next? Miss Nandi interjected diplomatically. A quarrel between Siddh and Hari was to be avoided at all costs. The last time there was a disagreement between them, their battle lasted for centuries. during which time the universe floundered. What's next? We carry on, Hari said. It's going to be dangerous for her. What about Ganesha? Muthu asked, not willing to give up. Why is he taking so long? She may not remember me, but surely she'll know him. Can't Ganesha come now? He'll come when he does, Sid snapped, turned his back on them, and lapsed into deep meditation. The gods vanished. Miss Nandi stayed back for a few minutes in humble contemplation for her beloved Lord. She would have remained on that mountain for eternity, but she had work to do. She quickly made her way south to Om Depot, where she took her position behind the counter and waited. And so ends the second part of this book. I do apologize for skipping over the sex scenes, but I imagine you can understand. If you did want the detailed account of that scene, you are welcome to check out this book, written by dear Tara Lamont. Anyway, next time we will begin reading the third part, titled Tattvam Asi, Thou Art That. Quote from the Chandogya Upanishad. Thank you for listening. We'll pause our reading there. The Divine Mother of the Universe has connected, at least at some level, with the Divine Father again. I look forward to seeing how their relationship evolves as we continue reading Moksha, liberation. Namaste.